Hello everyone, this is Corsair Mac, one of the 3 wellness professionals at Elgin Community College. And today I'm just going to go over a brief overview of anxiety. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. So, what is anxiety? Basically, anxiety is a really interesting emotion that comes from predicting, right? So ultimately, when anxiety comes up, we're predicting something that may or may not happen, right? There's a 50% chance that it could happen and a 50% chance that it could not happen, right? And anxiety and fear get mixed in a lot. With anxiety, we're reacting to something that's perceived. Again, it may or may not happen. Fear, we're reacting to something that's real, right? It's right there in our face and we're freaking out about it. So that brings us to the cycle of anxiety, right? Because there's a 50% chance that it could happen, a 50% chance that it could not happen, right? That gets us into that fight, flight, or freeze mode, and that starts off with that cycle of anxiety. So first, right, we get anxious over something, right? That's the beginning cycle, right? Whatever situation happens, we get anxious. So let's say, for example, right, we got chased by a dog or chased by a cat because the dog or the cat wanted to bite our feet or our ankles or what have you, right? So based off of that situation, if we get back into a similar situation where we're either around the place where the dog or cat was, or we might come in contact with another dog or cat or what have you, we start to get anxious. Then with that anxiousness, we go into the second stage, which is some essentially short-term relief, right? So ultimately, what we do things to avoid the situation. We do things to blanket that anxiety. We do things to help us feel some sort of relief or relaxation. So whether that is we don't go anywhere where someone mentions there will be a dog or a cat, or we decide to bury ourselves in work so that way we can avoid that, or we decide to do anything else besides go into that situation where that dog or that cat is, right? We avoid that. And then the next stage of anxiety or that anxiety cycle is you get that short-term relief, right? So you get based off of that, right? We're not seeing a dog or a cat. We're not dealing with a dog or a cat or anything like that. We do get that short-term relief. Unfortunately, because we're not dealing with the problem or dealing with the issue, processing through that problem or processing through those issues, that anxiety just builds up more and more, right, until it overflows, and then we get into that next cycle again of, oh, there might be a dog or cat here, then boom, that help on anxiety just blows up or erupts, and we just get even more anxious, right? So basically, that's the cycle of anxiety. We feel anxious over a certain situation. We do things to help blanket it or distract ourselves from it. We get that short-term relief. Unfortunately, that anxiety builds up until we get to that next situation again to where, boom, we're anxious, and then we just keep continuing the cycle. So how do we stop that cycle? I guess that's the really important thing. So first things first, we got to remember the main enemy of anxiety. The main enemy of anxiety is facts, or what is 100% true. So based off of that, the first thing we can do to help our anxiety is question those thought processes, right? If we believe there's going to be a cat or dog there, we got to really ask ourselves, is there really going to be a cat or a dog there? Do we know that for 100% fact that that's going to happen? And if we do we know that that cat or dog is going to try and bite our feet or bite our ankles or chase us, right? Do we know that's going to 100% happen? Or is that cat or dog going to be behind a fence? Is that cat or dog going to be outside in the backyard while we're in the house? Is that cat or dog going to be anywhere near us or around us? When we start questioning those thought processes, because ultimately, when it comes to anxiety, we're questioning those assumptions and opinions, right? Assumptions and opinions come out of anxiety, right, based off of something that is 100% true, but those assumptions and opinions are not 100% true, right? Because ultimately, like I mentioned, with anxiety, it could happen and it could not happen. Unfortunately, our mind always goes to the negative. So here, while we're questioning our thought process, we're getting our mindset out of that negative into that more neutral or positive area. Another thing you could do is really take a look at the best case, worst case, and most likely scenario that's going to happen. right? So worst case scenario, we get to that place, the dog or cat's there, and then they attack our feet. Best case scenario, we get there, that dog or cat doesn't attack our feet, or they're in the backyard, or they're what have you, right? Not anywhere near us. Most likely, right, when we push those two together, mush them together, and then just plop them out, what's most likely going to happen is, hey, we let the person know ahead of time what happened to us, and then they'll take precautions to make sure that that dog or cat doesn't attack us, or show us that that dog or cat is friendly and won't attack us. Right, so those are two really quick coping skills you can utilize to help with your anxiety. So ultimately, when we take a look at those things, like I mentioned, it just takes a look at challenging our thought process and really taking a look to see what's most likely going to happen, and really only focusing on what's 100% true. Am I saying to ignore your anxiety? No, not at all. Because ultimately, we're feeling that way for a reason. We need to feel that anxiety so that way we know what we're reacting to, so that way we know what we need to take care of, right? We're taking a more proactive approach and taking care of that. All right, so if you made it to this part of the video, then that's it. Thank you guys very much for watching. And again, my name is Corsair Mac, one of the 3 wellness professionals. If you're looking to schedule an appointment with us, if you're an ECC student, feel free to call us at 847-214-7390 or email us at studentwellness@elgin.edu. Again, this is Corsair Mac signing out. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.